guys a softball towards your window because you should be ready for it.
Your name and district, if you know.
I'm Matt Howard, I'm from the 11th District. So it's going to be above your pay grade even if you all get elected. But what should be done with Snowden? Snowden, the guy who did the NSA expose.
Is this for all the candidates?
It's for all the candidates, right? You're going to be there, and the president, the Libertarian president, won't be there yet. But I'm real curious to hear what your attitude is, because people in our districts are going to want to know, because some of them are intelligence officers, some of them, and you should be ready for a few tough questions. So feel free to dodge and say, it's above my pay grade, thank goodness. Or tell me what you think.
I think, I mean, I don't have a lot to say other than, yeah, the dodge is nice, but also, I think there's a lot of facts that are not known. You know, there are people who think that he was a Russian agent or Chinese agent. I don't know. So let's find the facts out. I mean, I'm not gonna say that he's one thing or the other until I know more. And I think it's a legitimate question. I think it says a lot about the government, though, that people can claim that he's a hero and a traitor for doing the same thing, exposing a mass government surveillance program on private citizens. That kind of shows just how obtuse the government program is. That you can't tell what he is for revealing that. So you know, let's see what the facts are.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have all the facts, no question about that. But I do know this, we all know this. We would not be having this debate today had he not done what he had done. And I think it's a pretty damn important debate to be having, right? Should the government have this kind of access, have this kind of ability to basically completely disregard the Fourth Amendment and invade our private lives? Absolutely not, unquestionably. And would we be talking about this today if it wasn't for Edward Snowden? I'm running for office, so I'm not going to tell you if I think he was a hero or not. But I'm with Rob, right? More facts. I do think we should get him back here, and I think you know, it's a touchy subject, but I think we should do everything we can to get him back here so that we can get all those facts. Because while he's hanging out in Russia, we're not going to get him. And I'm thankful that we're having this debate today. However it came about.
Based on what I know right now, I'm glad he did what he did. But I think it also shows how important it is that we have a libertarian society, that stop the overcriminalization, that we have a restrained foreign policy. I think that this is a call to action among the American people to institute more policies that make this sort of government surveillance less necessary, and the people who, in the minds of the people who have instituted this program, I think it's counterproductive. I don't know how in the world they're going to find the needle in the haystack when they're sweeping up, you know, billions of phone records every day, or more, if that's the number. Or at least it probably is billions of phone records every day. So it seems to me that needle in the haystack problem is all the more pronounced. I think it's counterproductive, it's contrary to the Fourth Amendment, but it really shows that we need to live in the libertarian society so that even if government has information on you, there's no way they can use it against you.
Yeah, my gut feeling, and I agree, we don't have all the information, my gut feeling is that what he did was heroic. That's my gut feeling. Now here's what I do know, and I worked, you know, I worked for the Department of Homeland Security for 5 years, and I can say that in the 11th District, where many of the people always come to me, I know I'm getting off track, and can say, you know, how can you run for small government, limited government in Northern Virginia, or in the 11th District, everybody works for the government. I believe fully that the people that work for the government, the stagehands, have the best view. And I really believe that a lot of those people have seen the sausage made, and they're sick of it. And they know the waste, right? My gut feeling, going back to this question, is that what he did was heroic. But even more than heroic, because of the lack of transparency in this government, that's the only way we seem to be able to get our information. It'd be great if we could trust our government. it'd be great if they gave us the information. And if they gave us the information and everything was above board, then maybe people leaking information from positions of trust would be problematic. But because of the lack of transparency of this government, they forced us into a situation where we need these people to take these heroic actions and tell us what's going on. Because the bottom line is you can't trust the government. You can't accept that they're going to do what's even lawful or in your best interest. So my gut feeling, and this could change tomorrow if I got an entirely new, plate of information. My gut feeling is what he did was heroic. We needed that information to spur this debate. Hopefully that the heroic nature of his actions will be that we have this debate, and on the other end, we have more elected libertarians or people who are interested in transparency. But that's my gut feeling. I could be convinced the other way, because what do we need? More information. He gave us more information. If the government wants to give us more information and say what he did was wrong, then let's tee it up. Everyone come forward with the arguments. Let the American people make their decision. But again, I don't know if it's above my pay grade or not. I think that our leaders are our employees and not our rulers. So bottom line, I think that with what I know now, I'll go on the record and say I think what he did was heroic, but I don't have all the information. But that's the problem. I don't have all the information. And we'll go from there.
Good question. Good question.
Who has a question for the candidates?
You're right.
You, sir. in the back.
My name is Ben. I'm not sure what district I'm in. I just moved to Arlington. But,
8.
8?
Woo!
So I'd like to get all the candidates' opinions on the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve Act.
I don't think you can get a whole lot of difference from us on that one.
Well,
The question is about the Federal Reserve Act.
yeah, I mean, we heard all the candidates talk about, the drug wars and, repealing some of those acts. What about the Federal Reserve Act?
Well, if I may, I think moving to a gold standard or some sort, getting away from a fiat currency would be a good thing in the long run. Number one, that would be good. But I think in the short run, the most important thing is to give the Federal Reserve a clear mandate, which is not going to happen with Janet Yellen there. I just read the New Yorker profile on her, and she's worried about unemployment. She's worried about unemployment. Oh, we got to keep the interest rates low because unemployment. Well, we are really tempting fate with inflation, I think. And I see it out there. Let me tell you something. This whole thing about low inflation, I have just, now you're going to get included in my dietary habits. I've noticed increased prices at Taco Bell, at Chipotle, at Starbucks, and today I bought a burger and a Coke at lunch today, and without tip it was over $8. No fries or anything, so the focus has to be completely on maintaining a stable price level. Period. Let interest rates go where they go. Let the unemployment rate go where it goes, and we're not getting that from the Federal Reserve now. There should be one single mandate, and that is a stable price level.
Okay.
I'll actually, I'd love to answer that. I love talking about the Fed. How do I feel about the Federal Reserve Act? I'm not a fan of it. How do I feel about the Federal Reserve today? I'm not a fan of it. I share a lot of bills, and I'm sure all of these guys' sentiments on the subject. The Federal Reserve, just in case some of you might not know, is not a part of the federal government. It is a private entity that has a complete monopoly on our monetary system. And it's owned by the very banks it's supposed to be in part regulating, right? And it's not just Wall Street. It's owned in part by foreign multinationals as well. So, I will say this. In 1913, when they on Christmas Eve, I believe it was, passed the Federal Reserve Act when nobody was in session, the onus behind the bill, the onus behind the bill was actually to only provide a lender of last resort to the market, right? The Federal Reserve was not at that time involved in even price stability. It wasn't involved in looking at employment, wasn't worried about the economy. It didn't do anything. All it was a discount window. So in case banks had a problem, in case there was some sort of financial crisis, those banks could pay a penalty and go to the discount window at the Federal